What food has made you wonder, how did our ancestors discover that this was edible? I feel like fugu has to be the ultimate who the fuck figured out this was edible food, because if you clean it wrong it's full of deadly neurotoxins. I imagine a very unlucky assassin was very confused after trying to pretend to be the emperor's new cook. Well, Yzma mixed up the poison with llama serum when she invited the emperor to dinner, so it isn't that far off. I read this 3 times before I realized you weren't referencing historical events. Wasn't it Kronk that mixed them up? Almonds or mushrooms? Anything where there are poisonous types. Trial and error on the mushrooms. Oh yeah, don't eat that one. Running Bear was running for the bushes all night after eating that. His name was actually something else before that night. Yeah, alive. Deleted. Cashews, don't you gotta boil it like 4 times or something? Like who's like let's try this one more time. Cashew nuts are only edible through that nasty process. But remember, cashew apples are perfectly edible. It's a less random if you already eat the fruit to try eat the seed somehow. Poor sod who tried the nuts first though. I had no idea. Thanks for the knowledge. I just remember the nut being complicated. That's perhaps why they cost more than other nuts at the store. Durian. Oh hey, this heavy sharp falling murder melon smells like a corpse farted in a hog rendering plant. Let's give it a go, eh? You think durians are murder melons? Have you seen jackfruits? Yes, I have, but I always imagine the durian is more terrifying because of how hard and spiky it is. Neither fruit is something you should be sitting under unless you really don't like yourself. Both fruit are definitely trying to kill people. Jackfruit have a sedative effect, durian has a hyperthermic effect, and both can cause hypoglycemia if the person is taking blood sugar medications. Brand new sentence. Potatoes. They are poisonous above ground and root needs to be cooked. Someone was persistent and hungry when they worked it out. We still are poisonous. Hell yeah we are. The humans are so foolish. I pity the fool. Imagine living a life without potatoes? Denying yourself the sheer joy that all species of potatoes bring. Bread. Just how? Fermentation and yeast are sort of like rotting. They will happen naturally, so people can stumble upon it. Totally believable. I have often stumbled upon drinking fermented products. You got it. Fizzy sour orange juice on a hot day tastes like childhood. In Illinois, and most of the Midwest, we have a native plant called a mayapple. It is horribly toxic if it is not harvested at a very specific time. I've always wondered how many people died before they figured out what the proper harvest time was. I've lived in Illinois my entire life and never heard of this until now. Mayapples are a woodland species that grows under heavy shade. They're pretty common in most oak savannas, forming little colonies several feet across. The flowers hang under the foliage and the fruit is tomatillo sized. Is it May? Honey? Who decided there was something delicious inside a ball of flying needles? Bears? Winnie? Pooh? Donkey? Coffee, need to strip the bean out of the fruit, then roast it before using it. How the hell did Native Americans figure out how to safely eat acorns? Acorns are a perfect example of the answer to the op question. If you lived in a pre-modern society, you were pretty much always in a calorie deficit and were always one bad hunt or harvest away from famine. If you saw an abundant possible source of food, then you would work hard to figure out how to use it. Indians would clearly understand that the bitter taste of acorns was a warning not to eat. Their need for supplemental sources of food would have been incentive enough to figure out how to leach out the toxins, however. Agree there. Wonder who the first one to try something bitter and fall over dead? Peppers literally hurt when you eat them, so why did we just go probably fine? Hungy? No, it's spelled hungry. They also prevent spoilage, that's why they were used, especially in hot climates. Yep. Curry is basically a meat preservative. And for that matter, people in ye olden times frequently ate semi-rancid meat that we would consider inedible today. Coating it in hot spices was a good way to cover up the rotten taste. Carl. This shark meat seems to be making everyone who eats it sick. Maybe we should stop eating it. No wait, I have a better idea, let's bury it in the ground and let it rot for a few months and then eat it. I think it was, okay, this shit is killing everyone, let's bury it in the sand so people stop eating it. A few months later Oh god, I'm so hungry, I don't care if I die, I just wanna die with a full stomach. Let's get that deadly shark meat out of the ground and get it over with. Few days later Wait. Why aren't I dead? All shellfish. Like who decided to dig up a clam at low tide and eat it, same goes for oysters. Crabs and lobsters I can understand, someone probably ate one in retaliation to being pinched. I second oysters. Who was like, I found this weird rock. It's filled with slime? I'ma slurp that down. Probably saw otters going nuts over eating oysters. Otters even have a weird dimple/pocket for keeping a good oyster/clam smashing rock around. Cashew nuts. Straight from the tree they are poisonous and have to be boiled or something first. It's weird that they are better known than cashew fruit, which the nut grows out of. Roasted. Brazilian here. Cashews have a very delicate flesh, it simply don't travel well. Even in Brazil it is not totally easy to find it outside of the producing region, the Northeast. Cashew apples are delicious though. Pistachios too. Ayahuasca. Specifically the precise combination and preparation methods out of every plant available in the rainforest. Well, apparently, the shamans say that the plant spoke to them and guided them through the process. What that means, or how it translates scientifically, or psychologically, I don't know. I think it was more like teenage dumbass me, just consume everything until you're stoned. Maybe that's the objective truth, and every plant we eat is a being fully capable of guiding us to awesome food. Back in the day, to make fluffy cakes, you have to beat the batter for an hour. How did they know beating it for so long would achieve such a thing? The same with egg whites? Who experimented again and again to figure this out? They pissed off someone and were told to whisk until I say so, and then everyone loved the end product. I'm sure they knew pockets of air expanded when heated right? I would that was pretty early in human knowledge, but I don't know really. There's wonderful Russian confection that's like marshmallow made from apples, and there's no way they were making that without serfs before we had electric mixers. Cheese. It all started with attempts to make milk last longer. We started out first with yogurts and then just refined it over centuries of experimentation. Also, people who were lactose intolerant could eat cheese, which are a large portion of humanity. There is a realistic theory that humans use stomachs to make bags. Put milk in a bag and go to work for the day, go to drink the milk and find curds, soon you're on the road to figuring out cheese. Cassava and any food whose wild variety is poisonous. Artichoke. Yes. Who figured out that you need to boil it so you can eat just a small portion of it. You can actually cook the bottom growing part, like the trunk, very delicious and full of minerals. Yes. Never looked at a thistle and thought, yummy. You either eat and gamble not getting sick or you starve. Salt. It's a fucking rock? A rock everyone who's been to the ocean has tasted. It's the town bicycle of flavor. Many animals can be observed using natural salt licks, so I imagine it had something to do with that. Why do those antelopes keep licking those rocks? Hey, this would make these roots taste better. Hunger is a hell of a motivation. It's good to be the king. Starvation. The answer is always starvation. Cocoa, you have to break it, roast the seeds, and even then, it's really bitter. The flesh of the fruit is delicious. Why they decided to roast the seeds is anybody guess. You waste nothing. If you can use a part of a plant or animal, you do. When the gods give you a gift, you do not turn up your nose to any part of it. Yes, but why cocoa and not other fruits? Sourdough bread geezes, for the love of God, how they figured this one out. They left flour and water out and it started to bubble, and they cooked it anyway because flour wasn't easy to make. I would have been afraid after the bubbling. Hunger will drive people to eat all kinda of wild stuff. Lots of stories of parties eating their shoes, saddles, anything made of leather after running out of food on a journey. Ever tried soda? None. Starvation will make you try anything. To me, the best example of this is a Carl. Hey Einar, remember that dead shark that washed on the beach a few months ago? Yeah, we buried it so it wouldn't stink up the whole village and laid down some stones over it so the dogs wouldn't drag it up. Dude, you know that kind of shark is poison, right? Dude, I'd rather die with my stomach full than empty. Good point, Helgi. 12 hours later. WTF, we're still alive? Yeah, I think we should cure it next time though. Anything that's poisonous unless cooked/prepared in some way. Examples: pufferfish, potatoes.